Hello, and welcome everybody. My name is Tom Lelia. Welcome to the Jet Life Podcast. I'm your ultimate jet guide, and today we're pulling back the curtain when it comes to private aviation, answering your questions. These are questions that we've gotten from the Circle community. So if you haven't already, go ahead and join the Circle community. Go to circle.jetlifearrow.com, and there you will see the opportunity to become a part of this amazing community of aspiring brokers. It's an opportunity for you to learn, to ask questions. It's what I wish I had when I was becoming a private jet broker. It's a safe place for you to check out and ask questions and just learn about what's going on in private aviation. So welcome if you're joining us on the live stream from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere. We are alive. And if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and feel free to check up some of the chapters as we go through. We've got a couple great questions, again, coming from our Circle community. What's going on? Angel, Hayden, Kenny Wellens in the house, Ryan, Sam, and Tamer. What's going on, everybody? Thanks a lot for joining. So let's hit the ground running. The first question we have today is, how do you introduce yourself to other professionals? And kind of the idea behind this was, should I call? Should I email? Should I slide into the DMs? And so my advice to you to introduce yourself to other professionals is you can do whatever it takes to get in touch with them. I would say, number one, have a reason why you are trying to get a hold of this individual. Is it because you have a buyer? Is it because you're doing market research? Is it because you just want to learn more? You want to learn from them? Have a specific reason. They're busy. You're taking time out of their day. So have a purpose. And ideally, that purpose is providing value to them in some way, shape, or form. So you might be just doing research because you want to learn more about Gulfstreams. Hey, the reason I'm calling you is because I'm new into the industry. I'm trying to find out more about Gulfstreams. I just called a few other people. I kind of have an idea what the market's, is there anything I can do for you to help you with your market research that might help me as well as I'm doing that for you? That's one thing you could try and do. As far as which is easier, DMs or email or phone, I use them all. So I don't want to say like you should always call them or you should always text them. Sometimes it's better to send a text or a DM because you're not interrupting their business day. So once you get them on the phone, now you're really taking time out of their day. So you better have a really good reason to be connecting with them. Maybe send them a text or an email saying, hey, I would like to speak with you. When's a good time for me to give you a call? I only need 5 minutes of your time. I want to discuss boom, 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 and have 3 specific things you want to discuss with them so you can go ahead and answer that question. Questions coming in the comments already. Kenny, what's going on, man? If you've got questions, go ahead and type them out in the comments below. We'd love to answer the questions live as well. Kenny's asking, do you search actively for buyers for planes? That's a great question. Right now, the primary way that we find buyers for planes is through controller.com. And we're going to be going over some of the top websites and the tools that we use on a daily basis a little bit later on this live stream. So the buyers usually come to us because we put it in the marketplace, whether that's on Controller, Trade a Plane, AvBuyer, Flying Magazine's marketplace, a lot of great marketplaces. Facebook is a place that will get buyers. Instagram, believe it or not, sometimes we'll get some buyers. The quality of buyers will kind of depend where they're coming from. And to be honest, Kenny, we are working on trying to get more and more exposure for our listings so that we are really saturating where we're getting buyers from. The other place we'll get buyers from is from people that we've sold planes for or to in the past. And so they will call us and say, hey, thanks for selling me the Citation 5. I'm ready to move up to an Ultra. Or I'm ready for a CJ or an Excel, whatever. Then we'll start to go through the acquisition process with them. So they're current clients. Also, we do get people, from YouTube that want to buy planes. I just had someone call me up yesterday. And so that's where we get our buyers from. But moving ahead, so that's how we introduce ourselves, and that's how we find buyers. Again, hey Ryan, what's going on? Good morning. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. Happy to answer your questions. Instagram, sorry you guys don't get as much love all the time. So you got any questions? No, Instagram's little quiet today, but that's all right. Not a problem. So, question number two: how do I establish credibility on first contact? What do I have to do in order to establish credibility? And it's true. When you call somebody, it can be one of those things where it's like, why should I talk to you? What is it that I can do for you? And so there's a few things. Number one, I would say it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And so this is one of the great things about LinkedIn. How do you establish credibility? I would check out, especially if you're doing on social media, I would beef up your LinkedIn profile. I would go into it and I would want to make sure that it's everything that establishes credibility. So let's do a quick audit. I'll take a look at my LinkedIn. Could be terrible. This could be a really bad idea. Let's find out. Hang on one second. All right, let me put you on full screen here. Boom. So if I go to LinkedIn, this is breaking right now for some reason. There he is. Okay. So we got Ryan. He's got 500 plus connections. All right, that's telling me that he's involved in the marketplace. He's with a reputable brokerage, Avsky Jets. He's got a bunch of followers. He's got some posts. Let's see what his recent posts are. He's got some off-market opportunities. He's doing some deals with PC-12s, EVs, nice jets. He's celebrating International Women's Day. He's hanging out with the boys at the baseball game. Look at this nice little closing on a Phenom 100. All right, so this guy's got credibility in my eyes just based on his LinkedIn. And so I would want to beef up your LinkedIn profile. Who, again, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So when you're talking to people, another thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want here's Mr. Pollard. This guy's he's a legend in the aircraft industry. As you can see, again, he's got 6,000 followers, 500 plus connections. He's got he's got his own business, Pollard Aircraft Sales. And when people look you up, let's see if we can go to his website, Pollard Aircraft. I mean, look, like this guy's, he's legit here. He's got a nice website. So, oh, hold on, let me share. Okay. He's got a nice website going on over here. All right. So people are going to be looking you up. And I just had this happen to me the other day. Like someone's like, "Hey, I looked you up. I couldn't find you." I'm like, "Really? You couldn't find me?" So, well, all right, whatever. But, you got to be able to be found. And the company you keep. So he's a part of NBAA. That shows, okay, you're part of a national brokerage organization. That's important. Maybe let's look up some of the young guns. Let's see if Danielle's got here, Danielle McCauley. Let's see what she's up to. All right, she's taking a picture in front of I gotta shoot. She's got taking a picture in front of a jet, 500 plus connections. Embry Riddle, there's some stuff there. Frequent flyer. So she's a sales executive. She's part of GLADA. You see, right? Let's see if I can do it. So she's part of the Global Licensed Aircraft Dealer Association. And so that is a good organization to be a part of. GLADA.org, I think it is. Who knows what we're going to find on here? Nope, that ain't it. Anyways, we're gonna try and find another organization. So IATA is a group that you could try. GLADA is a great group that you can check out. All different places. So that's another way to do that. Let's see. Next questions. We need a broker for marketing aircraft. Angel. So we got a couple questions coming in. So yeah, Hayden's saying other brokers will have buyers too. That's another way to get buyers. Angel, can you rephrase your question? We need have broker for marketing aircraft. I'll be happy to answer that question. Just rephrase that. Kenny, do you have big commission on another question from Kenny? He's getting in here. He's getting his questions answered. Do you have a big commission on a sale in comparison to the work? So commissions are kind of interesting. I will typically say anything under $2 million, I'll advocate for a 4 to 6% commission range. And so if we're looking at, $2 million, 6%, $120,000, Compared to the work that I have to do, is it a big commission compared? It doesn't always feel like it. I'll tell you, I've worked for $15,000 commissions and it felt like I did $50,000 worth of work. So, keep in mind when you're negotiating your commission, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, especially for a listing. I mean, it costs us money every single month to promote our listings. It costs us money every month to use the tools that we have. I mean, my brokerage just on my own, from rent to subscriptions to marketing, employees, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you can be running at least $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month just in your operating expenses. So you better make a commission that makes sense. If it's going to take you 6 months to sell the aircraft on average, right now, on average, we're looking 4 to 6 months to sell an aircraft, and it costs me $10,000 a month. That's $60,000 it's going to cost me. And that's just for my whole business, right? So I don't need one listing to help me to help me figure out the entire thing. But that's kind of where it needs to be. So I mean, I think it's a valid question to ask. Um, yeah, so let's go on to the next question. How to make an impression coming into the industry? This is a great question. I really appreciate it because a lot of people will reach out to me and be like, Tom, how to become a broker? And I'm like, okay, here, do this. Number one, go to let's see what I have it here. Number one, go to the Circle community. Go to our community and circle.jetlifeaero.com. I'm gonna share this with you. And here's our Circle community. And in here, when you go into the discussions, you can ask your questions, get your questions answered. Find out hey, business jet inventory climbs and prices are softening. Find out the news. How do you use, what are some events that are going on that you can tap into? What are some market reports that are going on? So like number one, get involved and get knowledgeable. How do you make an impression coming into the industry? Become knowledgeable. Number two, how to make an impression is actually serve people, actually help people. So here's what brokers need. Brokers need planes to sell and they need buyers to buy. If you can bring a broker a plane to sell or a buyer to buy the aircraft, you will make an impression. So how do you do that? Well, you go out and you ask. One way that you can do that is you can call the brokers that have planes for sale and be like, hey, what do you need? Okay. Do you need another airplane? So if you have a Citation 5 listed for sale, hey, what do you need? Well, right now, I'll tell you, I need a Citation 501 that's available for sale. Actually, I need two. And if you can bring me a Citation 501 to sell, whether it's direct to a buyer off market or it's a listing, then that's providing value. If you can find me a buyer for a listing that I have, you see that I have a Citation 5 currently listed. If you bring me a buyer and that transaction goes through, that's how you make an impression. If you bring me data or if you bring me information or news that will be helpful for my clients and for myself, that's how you make an impression. So making an impression is about how do you help some other people. And really, brokers just need two things. We need planes to sell and buyers to buy. If you can bring those two, you will make an impression. This is Kenny. Like Kenny's coming in from Belgium. I don't think we have a market big enough in Belgium. Here's the thing. If you're coming from a country that's not the United States and it's not Europe, yes, it will be a challenge. I've got people from Iraq messaging me. I've got people from India messaging me. And I'm kind of at a loss to tell of how to help them become jet brokers because I just don't know the industry out there. But I will tell you this, Jet Life Aero, we are a cloud-based brokerage. And so you can work with us from anywhere. And so if you can, like, for example, Kenny, like I would be happy to work with someone and coach them on how to maybe be a market researcher. And they earn a commission when they help someone get a listing. So if you wanted to be a part of this, right, you would sign, maybe we do something like you sign a contract with us and you work as an assistant for one of our brokers, and then you split the commission based on, how helpful you are for those deals. And you could try that with other brokerages, right? You can be like, hey, listen, I'm based out of here. Do you need some help? And maybe they can pay you a salary for that. So just because you're based in a country that's not the United States doesn't mean that you can't be involved in private aviation. Thank you, Hayden. Nice shout out. Um, do you have to be a bro? Oh, okay. So here's I think a question from Angel. Do you have to be part of a brokerage to promote an aircraft? No, like owners can sell their own aircraft. They can promote their own aircraft. Pilots will do it. Mechanics will do it. But one of the things we say at Jet Life Aero when we're talking to someone is like, hey, listen, I'm a full-time broker. This is my job 24/7. I'm not a pilot or a mechanic with a hobby. And we don't, and we say that because we want owners to know, like, listen, if somebody calls me, they're calling me because they want to buy your jet, and I'm here to answer the questions that they have about buying your jet and sell them your jet. I'm not a mechanic that's going to be under the landing gear of another jet while somebody calls, because I have something else to do. I'm not a pilot. I'm going to be flying for somebody else, or I'm going to be flying in the air, so I can't answer a phone call. That's exactly what we do. Is we work on selling the jet. Another great question by Ryan, Jet Life Aero Brokerage. What keeps you motivated when you hear people tell you no? What keeps me motivated is remembering my why. Why am I doing this? Why am I moving on to the next? Is because I have a responsibility. I have an obligation. I have a duty to be successful for my family. That's it. So am I going to let that person take away my responsibility? Am I going to let that person steal my dream of having a successful business that provides for my family, not just monetarily, but also puts me in a good place, whether that's my schedule, whether that's just my mental attitude, whether I'm feeling fulfilled through my business. I'm not going to let that no hold me down, because I remember my why. So great question, Ryan. That's what keeps me motivated. Another question coming out from Kenny from Belgium. Do you need a special license to be a jet broker? No, you do not, at least not in the United States. You don't need a specific license or certification. However, there are certifications like NBAA's CAM certification that can help. You could also take courses like the Aircraft Broker Academy with Alex, or you can do the Jet Life Aero training course, and that will teach you the skills that you need to be a private jet broker. So we're moving right along. Got a couple more questions that we're going to be bringing up. But just speaking of the Circle community, I want to share this promo with you guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, go to circle.jetlifeaero.com and check out our online community for aspiring brokers and current brokers. Here you'll find discussions, all thing aviations based, things that you're going to want to know as an aircraft broker. You can also check out our free training, as well as more resources that are available to help you to become a better jet broker. That's circle.jetlifeaero.com to begin your journey within the broker community, absolutely free.
All right. So coming up next, we've got what industries or businesses can benefit from private aviation, and I think this is kind of an interesting question, because it's from a broker's perspective, right? It's where can I go to drum up new clients that maybe haven't thought about this before? And I think it's also, I think, a question that, I'll answer when I'm first starting out working with somebody, how aviation works. We ask the question, why do people buy private jets? People buy private jets in order to save time. People buy private jets in order for tax purposes. People will buy private jets because they have to, go from place to place. There's all different reasons for people to buy private jets. So what's interesting is that I've dealt with software guys, oil guys, gas guys, construction guys, logistics guys, sports owners guys, celebrity guys, just all over the place, all across the board. I've dealt with different clients who had a need for private aviation. And so really any industry where there's either a tax burden that they want to use, that they want to offset their costs by getting a private jet, or they just need to travel. I've seen doctors and dentists use it so they can get into remote areas of the state that they're in. So for example, there was a doctor that would use his citation to visit remote areas of, I think it was North Dakota, so that he could go in, come back, and be home in time for dinner with his family. Like, there's value there. And so those are kind of different things. Now, if you want to think outside the box of, like, not just calling individuals, but you want to think outside the box and consider different ways to get in touch with those people, family offices is a great place to start. can you network with somebody who runs a family office and is in contact with high net worth individuals? Another place you might do is tax attorneys, high net worth bankers, high net worth insurance people, yacht brokers, luxury car brokers. Those are all different ancillary. High net worth lawyers. Those are all different people that you can network with because you're all dealing with the same types of clients. So that's kind of a tip for you guys. If you want to kind of expand your network outside of aviation and expose yourself, expose your services to people that are in the high net worth community, but maybe aren't thinking aviation yet. Again, family offices, high net worth bankers, aviation, tax people. I'm sorry, lawyers, tax people, that sort of a thing. Might be some people that you would check out. So we have some more questions coming in here? Ooh, okay, great question from Facebook. When you started Jet Life Aero, what would you say were your initial capital investment to open up and start it? So you can get started today, like basically for free. If you go to, and actually, I will show you right now. Let me present my screen. If you join the Circle community, I literally put out a course that's free aircraft broker training, how to get started for free. We talk about different apps that you need for aircraft brokers, how to get a job as an aircraft broker, choosing which jets to sell. We go aviation 101. Here's how sales frameworks goes, and the aviation marketing 101. So you can get started with like very limited investment. I mean, you can get started for free today. Like that's just go to circle.jetlifeaero.com and join the Circle community there. Then if you want to invest some more, you can, we've got the Jet Life Aero Academy. I'll show you this where we dive deeper. There's 23 lessons. Okay. All about how aviation works, how to be a professional, what's the sales framework, what's the document overview, final evaluation. And once you do that, not only is it just these 23 lessons, but we also got ongoing training. So you can everything from photography, spec sheets, social media, how to, different types of jet brokers, how to do a foreign deal, how to handle buyers, how do we do JetNet? I mean, all this stuff is in here for you. Now there is an investment here. I mean, this ongoing training as of today, March 2024, the investment is $1,500, for the course. But you don't necessarily need to do that. You're also going to want to pay for the tools and software, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So that's actually a great segue. What are the common tools that we use as brokers? So let me go ahead and I'm just going to do this window. Okay. So what are some of the common tools that we use? What's the overview of tools? So number one, I would say go to circle.jetlife.aero and join the Circle community and get started there. Secondly, one of the big places you're going to check out is controller.com. And controller.com is like Zillow of real estate, but this is for obviously aviation. And so this is where you find jets for sale. So if you want to get into Gulfstreams, and you want to check out G150s, this is where you would find them. These are all the G150s that are for sale in the world. These are considered on market. They're publicly advertised. Then let's say, well, I don't know anything about the G150. Well, we have a whole training course on how to do this, how to figure out what you need to know about the G150. Suffice to say, all the data you really need is in here, And then I use something called globalair.com. And what I would do is I would do Gulfstream G150 specs, Global Air, and I would go to Google and then pull up their website. And this would give me some of the basic specs. Here's how fast it climbs. Here's how fast it goes normal cruise, 459.5 knots. What's the range? About average range is 2,700 nautical miles. So I know it can go coast to coast. How many people can it take with it? 7. Okay. And here's a brief description on it. I will also sometimes use Wikipedia. So if I do Gulfstream specs, usually Wikipedia is somewhere around here. Let's throw wiki in there. Yeah. So this will give me, some ideas on here. I will also do ChatGPT. Tell me basic information about a Gulfstream G100. Whoop, G100. And here's the main questions I ask. How far does it go? How fast can it fly? How many people can it take? Can it seat in the cabin? Those are the three main questions. How far, how fast, and then how much. Oh, also tell me how much a Gulfstream G150 costs today. So it's a luxurious mid-sized jet, fly up to 2,900. Now this is 2,900 nautical miles. So we're gonna want this is different than what Global Air told us when Global Air told us was 27. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out the G100 cruising speed of 528 knots. That's a lot different. Oh, this should be a G150. This is my bad. 7 to 8 passenger. Okay. Cost of a new 150 13 million to 16 million. Okay, that's not necessarily sounding right. So I don't usually use ChatGPT, but it can be a good place to get started. So those are a few tools right there: Controller, Global Air, Wikipedia, ChatGPT. Next, I want to show you a VREF, which is a fantastic tool for appraisers and how to appraise an aircraft. And basically, what it allows you to do is it allows you to go and say, okay, I want to do a Gulfstream G150. Okay. Let's do a 2008 model. This is telling me kind of some of the basics. So prices when new, they were 14 million. Let's start the evaluation. Now this is this costs money, this subscription, but if you want to be a broker, this is huge. So right now it's telling me the retail value is about $5 million for this jet, and I can change things about it, different times on the engines. I can change different avionics and stuff like that. But they just introduced version 3.0, and let me share with you a little bit about that. Let me see. Where's my VREF promo? Here, let me share you guys a little bit about this VR. So what's great about VREF, again, like I said, it is a valuation tool that banks will actually use, and it helps to kind of get a little bit more training, if you will, about it. But it's a fantastic um, resource to use. So it's $225 a month right now. This is version 2.0. They're coming out with 3.0, and I'll share that for you in a second. You can also get the print guidebook for 800 for the year, or you can get both for 17 for the year. So I'm paying right now for the online subscription. And let me share with you about what's coming up in 3.0.
Sorry for the interruption. I just had the opportunity to speak with Jason Zilberbram over at VREF, and they are launching their brand new VREF 3.0. VREF is the trusted resource that many lenders will use to provide a valuation on an aircraft. With 3.0, they're introducing a more mobile-friendly interface. You're going to be able to connect with brokers and owners. You're going to be able to get instant valuations. You're going to be able to find out information about aircraft that are currently for sale and historical data as well. Whether you're a broker or a buyer, having access to reliable information when it comes to market trends and it comes to aircraft valuations is extremely important. So if you want to check it out and even get 10% off, you can go to go.theultimatejetguide.com/VREF for more information. Thank you so much, VREF, for sponsoring this video.
All right, so hopefully that had some audio. I wasn't hearing anything, but I didn't see anyone in the chat saying that we didn't have audio on that last one. But yeah, so go to go.theultimatejetguide.com/VREF, and you can get 10% off of the subscription. It is a subscription. I know some people were asking in the comments. It's $225 a month, but definitely worth it. Let's talk about like pricing. So if you went with VREF, $225 a month, and then let's talk about, JetNet is a program that I recommend. It's what we use as kind of our MLS, our database, if you will, for jet brokers. That's going to be anywhere from $600 a month to $1,200 a month, depending on what subscription level you go in. So, VREF plus JetNet. Now, JetNet does have some features in there that will help you evaluations, but not quite the same. It's not quite the same solution as a VREF is. So right now we're at $800 a month. Then if you look at controller, just to put a listing up on controller, I believe it's $400 a month for a light jet. So we're already at now $1,200 a month to kind of get started. That doesn't include, any kind of office space that you might be renting. It doesn't include any kind of overhead you would have for computers, for Microsoft Online, et cetera, et cetera. So you can easily see where it can start to get to $1,500 a month really quickly just to get started as a broker on your own. Now, this is the reason why I decided to start Jet Life Aero, because with Jet Life Aero, we help you. We help you along with our coaching and our mentoring products. You can come in as a Jet Life Aero broker, and you're paying for coaching and mentoring, but you're getting access to a suite of products on top of that as well. And then there's a commission split at the end. And so I'd be happy to talk to you guys about that more. If you have any questions, you can contact me on the Circle app. So don't forget to check out circle.jetlifeaero.com to get some more information. I'm just about to wrap up. If you have any final questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you today. But this was pretty much what I wanted to go over. Oh, I think I have one more question. Oh, okay. If you're the diehards and you want to stay for this last question, I've got a couple of quick terms that you should know as a private jet broker. And let's see, where did I put them? Oh, I put them in the description. So let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. Couple terms that you're going to want to know as a private jet owner. OH means overhaul. So if you're on controller or you're anywhere and you see the term OH, that means overhaul. That means they have to take the entire engine apart and put it back together so that they know it's running efficiently. That's the big deal in aviation. The value of the aircraft is primarily in the engines and how many hours it has left until you have to overhaul the engine. Overhauls of a private jet can be anywhere from $350,000, $500,000, $1 million, or more per engine. And so overhaul is important. Also, another terminology you might see is AFTT. That's airframe total time. These airframes, I've seen them go for 10, 12, 15,000 hours on the airframe, and certain inspections may become more frequent or more required as it gets higher. For example, the legacy citations require a big inspection at 10,000 hours. You're going to want to be aware of that. So airframe total time, overhaul is another thing. On condition, so you can have an engine that goes past the overhaul. Oh, sorry. TBO. TBO means time before overhaul. Time before overhaul is how many hours before you have to overhaul it. So if a legacy citation has 3,500 hours of TBO, time before overhaul, and the engines have already run 3,300 hours, that means there's 200 hours until an overhaul is due. And that's a big deal. What some people have started to do is they run the engines past TBO. So they run it for 3,700 hours and they just keep operating the aircraft without overhauling the engines. Now, to do that, you'll have to do a hot section inspection just to borescope and ensure the engine looks good. And you're going to want to run tests on the engine, oil sample tests to make sure it's not making metal. You'll want to do tests like engine runs to make sure it's making good power. So there are stop gaps, and there are even programs extension programs out there that will help you give you a manual of how to keep the engines healthy, even if you don't take the whole thing apart. So that's becoming more and more popular. Another term you'll want to know is programs. This idea of programs is multifaceted. There are engine programs, airframe programs, APU programs, and what these types of capital P programs refer to are basically like insurance policies, where if you know an engine costs $500,000 to overhaul it and it's $3,500 hours till overhaul, you basically look at that 500,000 divided by 3,500, it comes to $142 per hour. So basically you give the engine manufacturer anywhere from 100 to 150 or more dollars per hour. Well, per hour. And when it comes time for overhaul, well, it's already paid. You paid into this account, you paid into this bank, and so it's covered. And so that provides a lot of value for the aircraft. Because the person who buys it knows, well, it doesn't matter that it only has 200 hours left on the overhaul because it's going to be paid for. Of course, that doesn't account for time. And some of the manufacturers are 6 months to a year out. So your plane might be down for a half a year waiting for the overhaul, unless the overhaul includes a spare engine, but that's a whole nother thing. So programs are good. Sometimes people don't like paying to the manufacturer, and so they'll just put the money aside on their own account, or they'll just wait until it's due and then they'll make the payment. That's fine. It's usually considered off programs, and you can get a deal on an airplane if it's off programs, but be careful because again, it's not on program. So when that $500,000 bill comes up, who's going to pay that and what's that going to look like? That's probably why the aircraft is cheaper than most. The lowercase p program would be an idea of an engine, a maintenance program. So like a low utilization program. So if you're only flying about 200 hours a year or less, some manufacturers have come up with a inspection program or an inspection schedule that spreads out the costs and the timeline of your typical inspection. So for example, in the legacy citations, a 1 through 4 would be every 2 years. With a low utilization program, it gets split up to every 4 years. With a phase 5 inspections every 3 years, that gets spread out amongst 6 years. And so since you're not using it as much, you don't have to do the maintenance as often. And there's a specific program on how to do that was approved by the FAA and the manufacturer. That's another way they use the term program. Another way to use the term program is a maintenance tracking program, and that is something like SESCOM, which formerly known as CAMP, as well as Sierra Tracks, or actually JSSI, formerly known as Sierra Tracks, Traxall, and the like. A maintenance tracking program is beneficial because it provides the owner and the potential buyer a snapshot, an easy to read report on the maintenance history of the aircraft instead of having to go through the physical logbooks. But there are different varieties of maintenance programs out there. Some actually you send the MTR and you have an analyst that's attached to your plane that verifies that all the all the entries into the maintenance tracking program are accurate. And some of it is just the owner puts in the information and you have to hope the owner does it right. Good information in, good information out. Bad information in, bad information out, sort of a thing. So those are some terms I thought I would just toss out there for you guys to know and understand, as you're kind of beginning your broker journey. But I'd be happy to share some more with them. And so we talked about SMOH. So OH is overhaul. So SMOH is since major overhaul. Sometimes you'll see it written as SOH, since overhaul. And that's just, again, another way to put the time on the engine. So if it's a 3,500 hour overhaul, time TBO, and the engines have it's been 3,300 hours since overhaul or since major overhaul, then you'll see SMOH or SOH. So great questions today. I appreciate everybody checking out what we have going on here at Jet Life Aero. Don't forget to go to the circle.jetlifeaero circle community, and we'll catch you later.